All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Bet. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you read that title correctly. By the end of this video, I will have solved all of humanity's problems by committing the simple act of sitting alone in my room. This quote was coined by 17th century philosopher Blaise Pascal, and upon hearing it for myself, I just knew I had to put it to the test. So for the next week, I will set aside 30 minutes every day where I will just do nothing but sit and think. Then record those thoughts immediately after. If old Pascal is as good a philosopher as he claimed to be, then by the end of this video, your, along with the rest of humanity's problems, will be completely solved. You can thank me later. Will that be the case? Or will this just be a video of me failing to explain what it's like to sit by myself for 30 minutes at a time? Find out right now. Yeah. So, day one pretty much acted as a control for how this experiment was really going to go and show me how good of an idea this was actually going to be. And to be honest, I didn't really know what I was going to expect going into this, and it was somehow better and worse than I expected. At the beginning of the 30 minutes, I found my mind to be completely blank for what felt like the first time in forever. Try as I might, I just couldn't think of anything, and if you know me, you know how insane that is to hear. But once I got really comfortable in my chair, I really started to have fun with my thoughts. I was thinking of ways to solve humanity's problems. Remember, that's why we're here, as this is apparently the only way to do it, according to Pascal. And I was able to come up with some baseline lessons that I'll dub Easily's Lessons That'll Solve Humanity's Problems, parentheses, working title. But I had to keep reminding myself of them, and so many times did I almost forget what they were, but luckily I was able to remember all of them. So first off, lower gas prices. That one's self-explanatory. Second was to communicate. Communication is a great tool to have. I try to communicate as much as possible. Thirdly, 30 minutes is a lot longer than you think. You'll see in the footage a point where I see the camera's timestamp for the first time, and I see it had only been 15 minutes at that point, and it really had felt a lot longer. Granted, it was obviously because I was doing nothing, but the point I'm trying to make is that we really do have a lot more time to do things we want to do. The fourth solution I devised to solve humanity's problems: play COD Zombies. It's really fun. And actually, in the process of realizing this lesson, I got to reminisce about the time a buddy and I played Zombies in Black Ops 2, and it was just great to relive that memory because it was one of the last times I got to hang out with that person, and what really helped make that memory so good was the fact that we were playing zombies together. It was tense, it was fun, we had a great time, and if all of humanity played around as zombies with a bro or two, I think we'd all be a lot happier. Lesson number 5, find what hills you want to die on. Get yourself some morals and stick with them. And never, ever let anyone think you're less of a person or uncool or whatever for committing to them. For myself, my number one hill is honesty. I try to be as honest as possible, to the point I'd say it's a bit of a fault in my character, but all the same, that doesn't stop me from being honest with others and myself as much as I can be. Final lesson of my first day of solving all of humanity's problems. I'm gonna be such a hero. Watch Thomas and Friends. I just think it's a great show. And while this next one didn't happen during my 30 minutes alone, as a little bonus lesson, my mom said make a bucket list, and the first thing to put on it is make a bucket list, because you can write it off immediately, and that's what I did when I was 8 years old. Overall though, I think we're off to a rockin' start, and I am looking forward to see what day 2 brings. So yeah, let's see. Moving rooms here a bit for a bit of visual flair. Day 2 was not as fruitful as day 1. To start, I was pretty tired. If you look closely enough at the footage, you'll actually catch me almost nodding off a couple of times. On top of that, my brain was just not feeling it today, causing me to really struggle to come up with any excellent solutions of fixing humanity. With only half as many as yesterday, the first of Easily's Lessons That'll Solve Humanity's Problems, parentheses, still a working title, is to start that thing you're putting off. We all have something that we just continue to procrastinate on for whatever reason, but the best way to circumvent that is to just start. If you got a show you want to watch, start with the first episode. A book, first page or two. Want to be more active? Short walk. A better way to probably put this lesson would be any progress is good progress, and the worst thing you can do about it is nothing. Lesson 2, buy things. Hungry? Buy food. Bored? Go shopping. Homeless? Buy a house. And lastly, eliminate the car as the main source of travel. It's been discussed before, so I won't explain it much further, but it does bear repeating. You can't go anywhere without driving because everything is so far apart. It's really annoying. Let's get rid of cars and use bicycles and trains, but mostly trains because trains are cool. During this session though, I was already starting to have doubts. I began to think how sitting by yourself quietly could even be the solution to everything that's wrong with the world. Who are you to make such a bold claim like that, Pascal, huh? Explain yourself. No, wait, you can't. You're dead. Upon that thought, though, I realized I needed to read more about this guy to see if I could get a better idea on where he was coming from. After a quick scroll through his Britannica page, link in the description if you want to check it out, because there's simply too much of this guy to cover, so here's some cliff notes. Born 1623, died 1662, Pascal was a mathematician, physicist, religious philosopher, and master of prose. I don't know what that is. He invented the Pascal line, essentially the first digital calculator, as it worked by counting integers. He also made the hydraulic press, so we have him to thank for all those videos of people crushing things with them. He also laid the foundation for what becomes the theory of probabilities, which basically states that a random event cannot be determined before it occurs, although it may be one of many potential outcomes. Now, actually, regarding the quote in question, Pascal is essentially saying that only by attending to our inward journey, i.e. sitting quietly in a room alone, I guess, can we truly make a difference on things outside of our own person. Or, if you're stupid like me, work on self, fix bigger problems. Thanks, Blaze. With this new information, though, I still didn't really know how to feel. I mean, could sitting quietly doing nothing really help me and others with making the world a better place? Well, at a loss for words, it seems like the only thing I can really do is wait and see what day 3 has to offer. So, I'll see y'all then. Decided to put on a little cafe ambiance video for this one, fellas. Might be bending the rules a bit, but I'm still all by my lonesome, so I'll let it slide, despite the ads that would pop up now and again. So, day 3 of my quest to solve, you know what I'm doing by now, was very interesting. Much like day 2, I didn't really think of any lessons, but unlike day 2, I didn't really see it as a bad thing. Instead of using my time to try and think of all these lessons to tell y'all, I sort of just existed for the next 30 minutes, enjoying the virtual scenery and white noise of my room. Which brings me to the one and only lesson I have for today, and that's to enjoy the quiet of the world. I mean, y'all have heard it 1,000 times, but nowadays we surround ourselves with noise and distractions. I'm guilty of it myself. I mean, I watch TV before work, listen to YouTube or music on the drive there, have music playing over the speakers at work, YouTube during my lunch, music or YouTube for the drive home, something to watch while I'm eating, before I go to bed, then background noise to help me sleep. It's non-stop, and obviously I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here with the visual aid for this session, which I actually recognize, and that's why I turn around about halfway through the footage. And it was more so done to help with the lighting anyway, because I wanted a little nighttime look for this session. Regardless, those 30 minutes of just nothing were honestly so relaxing and stress reducing, because it allowed for all parts of my body to reset and recollect itself after the fairly stressful day I'd had. It allowed me to reflect on myself and how I was doing at this current point in time, and that's when I really started to understand where Pascal was coming from with his quote. By sitting quietly in a room alone, I'm able to give myself the time to rest from everything, both work and pleasure, and allowed me to recognize what parts of myself I need to improve upon and what parts of myself I'm already content with. I'm then able to take these reflections upon myself and apply them going forward. If I had spent my whole evening watching something or playing something or doing anything of the sort, I just simply wouldn't have been able to reflect on myself and how I was doing at that moment. In doing the things I mentioned as well, you run the risk of seeing something or doing something that just lessens your mood even more, and that's what you end up taking to bed with you. I hope I was able to explain myself well enough for this day. I'll be honest, writer's block started to hit me about halfway through writing this, and I think it really shows, because I just started to have a really hard time explaining myself. TLDR though, enjoying peace and quiet quiets your brain and brings it peace. How's that for a quote, Pascal, huh? Put that one on the fridge, why don't you? See y'all on day 4. Back at it again with day 4. We're outside this time, and I also decided to enjoy an adult beverage to really up the pretentious factor. Day 4 followed the same trend as day 3, not much thinking, a lot more existing, but we're back up to 3 lessons a la day 2, so let's just jump right in. Lesson 1 is to give yourself a responsibility that is exclusive to you, entirely exclusive to you. Whatever it is, whether it's a plant or a pet or even that project I told you on day one to get a start on, as long as it is your sole responsibility to take care of it. Now, this one is a bit niche, I admit. I mean, if you already have your own place or pet or whatever, there's all the responsibility you need, but that's obviously not the case for everyone. In the case of myself, I live with family, so when it comes to something like our pets, the responsibility I have is shared amongst everyone. Being solely responsible for something is an excellent way to prove to yourself that you're capable of handling important tasks and shows emotional, mental, or even physical maturity. Lesson 2, flies suck. If there is a way to rid the world of them without messing up our ecosystem, I'd do it in a heartbeat. This one fly was constantly getting in my ear and just being a real nuisance. So if you see a fly, show it who's boss by making it fly away from you. Don't let that piece of garbage think it's ever safe. And if you can, kill it. And lesson 3, touch grass. Another obvious one, but it's that way for a reason. Enjoy the outdoors. Annoying fly and mild humidity aside, it was a beautiful day out. A soft breeze, got the wind chimes playing, and I even got to observe a squirrel just chilling on a tree, rummaging around. It got me thinking back to the first lesson of the day, and now I'm considering getting a plant I can take care of all by myself. Moving away from the lessons, today really had me thinking about the video itself, and whether or not it would even come out to be a good video. Would the algorithm find it? Would it be perceived well, or would the comments be filled with a bunch of people telling me how obvious everything I was doing and talking about was? Would I ever be allowed to cook again? But in the same thought, while important, those factors didn't really mean much in comparison to the overall goal I have for this video, which once again is to find out if giving yourself some alone time can really help improve who you are and how that can make the world a better place. And in my opinion, the evidence to support this claim just continues to grow in favor of yes. Just 4 days in, I feel calmer, happier, more emotionally stable overall. I genuinely just feel like a better version of myself. And this has led me to striking this comparison. Now, bear with me on this one. It's a little rocky, but think of those Amish floorless houses. You know, one person alone can't lift it, but a mass group of them can carry it to where it needs to be. If we take the time to seclude ourselves, work on ourselves, then we come together as a society. I can't say that word without cringing now. Only then can we really make the world a better place. Once again, I found today to be a rousing success, and I cannot wait for day 5 and onward. I'll see y'all then. I don't know what to say. I gotta be completely honest, guys. I'm at a loss today. I'm on a beanbag chair this time. That's a start. I have one lesson, and that's be smart with your money. Do I need to elaborate? This one feels really self-explanatory. Save your money. No, this session was weird, and I think the main reason for that is because I figured it out. Like, I understand what Pascal is getting at with the quote. If we were all to do this, it'll be a benefit to us and by extension the world. Done deal. You know, like, I get it. You know, if everyone works on themselves in order to be a more positive and mentally well person, then the world benefits by extension. I understand that. But I still have 2 more days to go. So what do? I've said my piece, given my 2 cents. I have spoken. Ironically, this session had me feeling a little more stressed than usual because I just don't know what to say anymore. And if you're watching the footage, you notice I'm speaking out loud almost the entire time, so I couldn't even be quiet like the quote says to be. Yeah, this one was weird. I think another reason was because it was the first time this whole challenge I really would have preferred to be doing something else. I was busy most of the day, so when the first thing I do when I finally get some me time is nothing, I'm not really feeling it. Thinking about it, this is good. It showed me that while this is something that I recommend to people to do, and something I've been able to see the benefits of, that's not always going to be the case. It reminds me of the importance of moderation, which I guess we can say is the second lesson here. Don't overwork yourself, don't over-relax yourself, don't overstimulate yourself, and in this case, don't overdo nothing yourself. the same method of relaxation and mental care isn't always going to do it for you. And to avoid repetition, you should change up your routine. And I think I'm starting to really feel that. Well, this is going to make for an interesting next 2 days. See y'all then. Going into day 6, I was expecting more of the same from day 5. By the time I got home, I was exhausted, hungry, and the last thing I wanted to do was sit alone in silence, when there were so many other ways I could have spent the time unwinding. Expecting this in advance, I once again chose to bend the rules a bit, I guess. I mean, I was still sitting quietly alone, but I wanted to listen to music. I couldn't be bothered to enjoy the silence. I didn't even want to think. So I popped my earbuds in, put on my playlist, I just vibed. And I'm glad I did, because it really allowed me to let the stresses of the day just roll off me, and I really don't think I would have been able to do that just sitting doing nothing. And by the end of the session, my mood had completely changed. From tired to refreshed, irritable to calm. I went from dreading this session to thanking myself for committing to it. I really needed this one, fellas. In relevance to today's lessons, there are none. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I didn't even try. For the first time all challenge, I don't have any words of wisdom, and I'll be honest, I couldn't care less. Just goes to show that sometimes there is no lesson. There are no words that can improve the current mood. Sometimes in life, the best words of wisdom are no words of wisdom. Just feeling. And right now, despite one of the most meh out of 10 days I've had in a hot minute, I feel pretty darn good. It happened. That's really all I can say about this final day. It happened. Talk about going out with a whimper, huh? I knew for this last one, I wanted to bring it full circle and be in my room with no music, no ambiance, just white noise. So I sat down. Halfway through, the camera died, then it ended. I didn't think of a lesson. I felt no different than before I started, and now it's over. My final thoughts on this challenge, experiment, whatever you want to call it. Don't do this for 7 days straight. It's not necessary. Once or twice a week at the most. I can't imagine Blaise Pascal ever expected people to follow his quote day after day, if he expected anyone to follow it at all. In moderation, however, in terms of relieving stress, this is a slam dunk out of the park option. 5 out of the 7 days genuinely improved my mood and mental health to a great degree. I was able to reflect on what I needed to improve upon as a person, while also being able to decompress and relax at the same time. But day 5 and today, boring. I wanted to play video games, watch YouTube, anything else. Sitting alone quietly just wasn't what my body and mind needed to get the stresses of the day out. I guess we can make that the final lesson of this whole ordeal. Listen to your body. It'll tell you what it needs. Hungry? Eat. Tired? Sleep. Thirsty? Yo, come take a sip now. Just kidding. But seriously, go with your gut feeling and adjust what you're doing based on your body's current needs. With all of that said and done though, do this. Do this. Like I said, a few times a week at most. Find yourself a comforting atmosphere in your house or somewhere else. I don't know. I'm not your dad. Fix yourself a drink or a snack and just enjoy the peace and quiet away from it all. I promise you, it works. Come up with your own advice to follow. Everyone's different. What I believe to be good advice may be terrible for others. It varies. But you really do owe it to yourself to take these breaks from the hustle and bustle and constant noise that is present within everyday life. Blaise Pascal was a lot of things and will be forever known for a lot of things, but this quote, in my opinion, should be considered, dare I say, his magnum opus of contributions to this world. Totally not an overstatement, because Pascal knew that the only way to solve humanity's problems was for everyone to first solve their own. And with that all said, I'm easily easy, and I'll see y'all next time.